Oh, there's no time like the present to start. Um, start what? Well, I told you when the beings of light came in 2016, they downloaded the history of the world to me. And for the last 8 years, I have been unfolding a remarkable story. So remarkable, people find it just too much. And they cannot fathom or believe what I am telling them. So I am sitting here tonight with a grander, if you will, scale of what I know than what I've already revealed. I know beyond or before Jesus who he was. And I can walk you through to now. But no, I can't. There's a block where the brain is so programmed, there is no way in hell. Because I was raised here, and this is the blessing I have, is I know your language, and I know your belief systems. I know what you're capable of believing, and I know you can't handle the truth. But maybe you can if I can express it in a way that removes all doubt. How about that? How I thought I'd do that. Because I believe I can do that tonight in talking to you. And I'm going to need your help in getting this done, guys. I mean, I can't do everything all by myself. You're going to have to help connect dots too. But you're going to have to do it in a way that goes backwards to about, well, 3000 BC, like I said in the beginning. Everybody argued with me. They know better details than I do. But yeah, I knew it started in the Greek sleep temples, and I knew where the Greek sleep temples came from. So don't argue with me anymore, or you're just gonna freaking flatten out and turn to dust. And you know what? I'm being kind because I really can't stand it here, what people have become. And I know you can hear that in my voice, and I'm telling you, I am entitled to this rage. But I'd love to be able to influence somebody into realizing what happened and how easy it would be to unfold it. So I lied. I lied to you all consciously. I knew I was lying. I was lying by omission. Well, let's put it that way. I was lying by omission because if something is not all the way up into my brain and I can't explain myself, I'm going to sound like a liar. So I didn't want that doubt. I needed you to know the spirit of my son, born in 1978, May 27th, was the spirit of Elvis. And I am the spirit of Gladys Love, his mother. Okay? And the end of music happened that year in 1977 when he died. When the king died. The king died. Oh no. Yes, the king died. And all of that is in my 590 videos that I took down or made private because nobody appreciated me. Nobody believed me. But after today, you might, if you pay attention. And if you come to my story as if you're just watching a movie, maybe. And maybe, just maybe, something will sink in. But I think the magic I just found in my house will help you let it sink in that this is real. My story is real. And I can give you more now about the Spirit of Jesus before he became Jesus. He was Mark. And my son told me when he was 4 years old. He grabbed my arm, actually. And we just moved into a basement suite. The father had abandoned me when I was pregnant and then again when he was 2. So here I was alone with my son, and I was getting him all excited about our new world here alone. And he came up to me, a little short guy, 4 years old, and grabbed my arm and pulled me. And he said, "Mom, why do you call me Trevor?" And I said, "Well, what's your name?" And he looked at me intently, like his beams in his eyes. "I'm Mark. I'm Mark." That's what I held back. And between the last 36, 24 hours, my story here at home in Quebec City has brought the story of Mark right here to this house. He's upstairs. It's all right. But how do I, guys, this is my question. How do I, he's French. How do I communicate with him when we don't even speak? I don't speak French. It sounds so horrible here. Horrible. If I'm going to listen to French, it'll be from France. But this is really bad. Like, it hurts me. Things have deteriorated. I can tell through my past life thing. But I don't get it because what they've done is a lot like what the English do, is they've exaggerated their pronunciation to sound more fluid, better, different, and they make it impossible for anybody wanting to learn French to get those pronunciations. It's crazy. But I was listening to a French show, and I thought, oh, that's clear. That's what I'm missing. So, it deteriorates as we go along in new worlds. Our languages, our cultures, everything goes down. Anyway, you want the history of the world? I'll give it to you in a nutshell. I also want to tell you another thing, the housekeeping matters here before I begin. I let Frank go. I closed the door and blocked him, and I cut up his bank cards, credit cards, all of his financial services are no longer required. Because what I have been and always have been since birth is handled. And he's just happened to be the last one to make sure I stayed unconscious. Because it wasn't until I let him go emotionally, like I didn't owe him anything anyway, um, was just again in the last 72, hours where I realized how controlling he was, where I was feeling cocooned and safe, because in this world I was not safe. And he stood up for me. And that is really what I needed. And that's what I got, as well as financial help, because my past didn't bring in the income. No, I was robbed, in addition to raped and murdered over and over and over. Anyway, I'm not bitter. I gotta go on. I'm going to talk about New Haiti. Because it's going to be New Haiti. It's going to be Haiti that connects us where you get it. Okay? It is going to be Haiti where you get it. So keep that in mind, all right? Um, the other day, I was so angry and upset with um, being targeted by everybody. My groceries, I was being ripped off. With my postal service, he wouldn't leave parcels. I had to take a taxi. I got sick to go get my parcel in some station, some faraway land. I knew they were putting me on goose chases. And very cruel, very cold. And these are just individuals that are acting out history. I need you to know this. Their spirit may not know at all what they're doing, but they are acting out. I said in my videos that there are two worlds going on, and one of them everybody is unconscious to, self included. But I was given the gift of the visit of the beings of light, their download, their work on my body, and then the reintroduction of my son, who had passed away in 2003. So my story is, to me, all in my imagination. But as I've told you, our imaginations are our created realities. It's coming from somewhere, and I can't make this stuff up. I really can't. I failed grade 2. I dropped out. I'm an utter failure in this world. I'll tell you, I couldn't be prouder of being a failure in this world. But I came with the star cluster family to make the world conscious, if you will, and to let them see where we are after um, our fake world, our lying world, our impossible history. So, yeah, um, I was so upset. Now, Mark, my landlord upstairs, um, Mark is a name that every step of my journey, if there's any protection I get or a gift, it's always from a guy named Mark. Always. So it's a symbol of the name Mark. I get symbols that remind me of what I was downloaded with. I have polymer clay with the numbers, many, many codes that I get and I understand and am triggered to waken about that. And so I'm familiar with the polymer clay codes. I'm familiar with names and birth dates and appearances. And suddenly it occurred to me a few years ago here in Quebec. That's Quebec City. You know, they always transcribe that as Q something. But it is, um, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It is then when the postman, I believe, because I put all of the newspapers, the French newspapers, in right in the recycle box, from mailbox to there. I don't want it, but that's probably why he targeted me. They know I'm English. A lot of them, they get virtual signaling, right? They get virtual signaling from their own leaders. And they take it upon themselves to punish people if they're upset. And I happen to be an easy target for a lot of people. So I thought, oh, I can't take it anymore. He can't take my stuff to some other place where I have to go pick it up. So I put a sign on let's see if you can see that, on the mailbox. I did it in French. I got it off of Google. It says, welcome. It says, bienvenue dans la nouvelle ville de Haiti, Quebec. Bonne chance, l'enclave Hainaut. I pronounce it wrong for them, but basically in English it says, welcome to New Haiti, Quebec City. Good luck, slaves. I did that before I became conscious to the very first Haiti in the world, which is not here. It's not in the Dominican Republic area. It is where my landlord went for a holiday. Unconsciously, I'm sure. Tanusi, Africa, near Morocco. He was there just before all hell broke loose in 2020. And he had to come back and be quarantined. So my journey to Quebec City started when I went homeless from British Columbia after being, raped and robbed and murdered. I kind of had to take my little pathetic self with 2 suitcases, get on a Greyhound bus, and go somewhere. And little did I know how guided I was to this perfect specimen of a protected house, and have sat for 6 years and been a behavior monitor expert, because I can't communicate with anybody here. All I can do is watch their spirit and what they're doing. I can't see their ego. They can't talk to me. I can see Mark's ego. In the beginning, he really tried hard. And I kept saying, tired, Elvis, tired. And they went, what is this tired thing? Why do I say tired? It's something other than the Elvis Presley and Gladys Love accent thing. It is significant, and I knew it. The word tired. Tyre was a city in Tunisia. Tyre was a city in Tunisia. And just to keep, how am I going to tell Mark? See, he'll never get this. He will never know why he loves the color purple and red and collecting slaves. I can't tell him. I won't be able to tell him. Because He's all in ego. He's the slave master this life. And I can't tell him as the slave master, he's a bigger slave than anybody. Working harder than anybody, maneuvering people around, and I don't know how he keeps up. Must be a big headache. But he didn't start off like that. You see, you interchange life after life after life. You're a slave, you're not, you're a slave master, blah, blah, blah. But more often than not, I hate to tell you guys, once you become um, a slave or a slave master, you become dark. You become black, 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 black. And the darker you go in your slave master relationship ideology, the less chance. That's what I've been talking about, the upcoming end of this simulation. The end of Humpty Dumpty, who sits on a wall, is having a great fall that nobody's noticing. But in this one, nope. All the king's horsemen and all the king's men will not be able to put Humpty together again. There won't be another, like, I know they're hoping for another catastrophe, and then they'll just be born again and do it again, like they have over the centuries. But no, 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 not this time. They're in for a sorry, sorry surprise. What they've done is they've retarded their entire right brain, and they won't be able to think emotionally. And they have no AI to come back to. They have no AI dies life after life. What is AI? It's artificial intelligence. It's scripture. It's university. It's Hollywood. It's anything you're getting in that doesn't come from you is AI. Artificial. Fantasy, simulation. Doesn't come from your heart. Comes from a master. And you buy into it. Like the Garden of Eden, where man forsaked his wife, his children's mother, for an idea that worked for him. But that was the story I was giving for these 6 years. But now, let's go back. I have notes because I happened upon videos pop up on my screen that I am to watch. And I don't know if anybody remembers me talking about the Phononicans, which is, uh, I thought came out of Ireland. Um, I see them as red. I thought it meant the red hair, but no, it is these. Let's go back. How do I tell Mark? This is what happened, guys. Let me just get to the story. So I told you I just want to tell you what they did. Oh, here it is. And last night, I wanted to do a mural, right? Because I've got heart failure and I'm dying here because I'm tired. And but I didn't want to die with the black images I got here of New Haiti and all that, of people and the people threatening each other and being aggressive all the time. I feel that and I can't take it. I often ask, you know, people, why are you so angry? Well, I'm not angry. Well, your voice and your tone and your everything says you are. So you are, believe you me. But they don't know, right? They don't know that's how they're coming across. But Tyre, the city, had narrow inlets, islands off the coast. It's in the Mediterranean, right? Of course, I hope you got that. Tyre is spelled Tyre. It's a city that flourished in silver, lead, iron, human trafficking, horses, turquoise, linen, coral, wheat. And they feared the people there. Um, they had trinkets. They loved trinkets. They did metalwork a lot. Silver bowls, ornate. Their inlets, they loved stones. And their island was off the coast. Palm trees. As I was hearing this on YouTube, because I wanted an image of where I wanted to go back to from my beginning. That's what I was doing. I wanted a picture of where my soul would go back to the beginning. And little did I know when I said I can take more emotionally, how much more they would give me. My guide, my love guide gave me so much more. In that, as I'm looking at this mural, trying to get a picture, what does my place look like? And slowly and surely, I turn my head to my right, and right above me, where I'm sitting, right here, is that picture. And I picked that up at, at some secondhand shop when I got here. I needed some color on my wall. It was like a $3 picture. But I liked it. But the colors were muted. And, and something is missing. But somebody here, somebody in Quebec, painted that. And that's where they came from. Within the city of Tyre, back then, the first city of Tyre on the Mediterranean, is another place called, guess what? Haiti. And I am pretty sure if anybody did research that far, if it's still in books, oh, I saw it on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube. Haiti, entire, into Tunisia, where Mark went. And somebody painted here. Because I don't know if you can see in that picture up there, there's a crown. There's a crown temple overlooking the sea and those mountains in this narrow cobblestone village. But I have to tell you where the purple and red came from. So, because Mark, my son, told me through spirit that he got something wrong. He got something wrong. I saw it on the Gematria. Something about the castle. I thought, you're crazy. I'm not going down rabbit holes, until I know what I'm talking about. And I get, I get feelings and I'm not getting it. I've gotta go back, gotta go back. And I didn't, I wasn't ready. I was, you know how much I have had to have on my brain and how heavy this shit is for me to carry around. It's insane unless you can see the magic. If you can feel the magic and the coinkydinks and the story unfold for yourself, even if you've been with me a while. But most people come and go. Either they just go or I drive them away. Like purple the other day. Yes, it's twisted purple. It is twisted. We don't like purple. We don't like red. This is a dye that um, who invented it? It was used for royalty, and it started the king thing. It started the kingdom thing, the human trafficking for the king. To be obedient to a king rather than to God or your love within and your children's mother. It now goes to the king. That's where we went wrong, in a nutshell. So, oh, here it is. This city of Tyre feared, um, well, it's now called Iraq, but at the time it was Assyria, Assyriah, their king. Feared him, didn't want him anywhere near them. Um, but he was jealous. I mean, Tunisia had everything. I mean, Tyre in particular had um, all of the trade going from the east to the west over through to Greece, who invented they invented the alphabet, and that's how they were the Phonologans. You see, the original language people was from Tyre in Tunisia, and the alphabet was so admired in Greece that they wanted it as well, and they adopted it like part of it and made their own, added into it. And this is important because the alphabet is what creates a word, right? And the word is what creates an image in our minds, which are programmable to conjure up images. Ask any woman, right? Her creator mind has images in it. Well, the images her creator mind has right about now is muted. And that's about like as good as you're going to get. I must say, they feel those glittery colors of pink and yellow and brilliant greens. We don't have that here. It's gone. And it's only gone because it's gone from her imagination. And in other videos that are still up, I left about 4 or 5 up, it says the creator's imagination is what we are getting. And you can manifest out of nothing. But what is in her brain but abuse, abandonment, and worship of these idol kings, which is what happened, and they gave Tyre too big of an offer. And when people are offered money, when there's trade going on, and then you stand to benefit as a slave owner, and offered debt too. They brought debt. These uh, Iraq, Azria, Azria brought the debt to this place. They cut down everything beautiful, the palm trees, the great greens. The Azores had a ship that was sort of flat at the bottom, and they loved the ships of the Tunisians. And I have to tell you that in my journey, my Mark um, dropped me dimes face up. Canadian dimes, I mean face down from the crown, and the Bluetooth ship face up, which I was always finding very curious. That, like I'm telling you, I've found hundreds of these dimes face with the Bluetooth crown down, Bluetooth up, since he crossed over. And I had to wonder why. I just filed it away. It is about the ships. It's about trading in the value of not having flat bottom ships. And they had these oars, and they were like, um, oh, the Bluetooth. One, 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 one. Okay, these people, okay, here, it was the Assyrians who brought the incense and the purple dye. They could have taken right over. They could have wiped out today. They could have wiped out Tyre. They're gone. They were too weak. And they could have wiped them out. But they had a second thought. Remember, this is the same as Iraq is today, right? The same area. Um, demanded uh, that they live as slaves. If you're going to live, you're going to be a slave. And they did. And there is a place there called Haiti. I don't know what the, like, I think it's just a name symbolizing a very dark race that is so entrenched in slavery of every kind. And we all know it as we watch TV and allow it. And we watch without emotion. And here I am in Quebec City, seeing more and more very tall, very black people walking by. Whereas when I first, no, I mean, sure, we have lots, but not in my neighborhood. But now it's in the neighborhood, Danier, and more dark people and very black people than white at this point. And you gotta wonder why. Um, Interestingly, they speak French. And so they're immigrants from French islands or Congo or other African French speaking. Like, I didn't know so many places around the world spoke French. And I feel this is how they control people through the division using languages and historical made up stories that are impossible to follow unless you are visited by beings of light and your deceased son. So if that happened to you too, maybe you know what I know. They, Cyprus, okay, these guys that took on the slaves were from Cyprus as well. They moved over to Cyprus. Yes, they went to Cyprus. And I have to tell you, I saw a video about a year ago there with these statues of women. And women were honored, believe it or not, being Christ's mothers and everything, because Christ has been around 25,000 years, but that's another story. But it's us, it's our Christ plane inside. Um, if you want to talk about a Big Bang Theory, it's Bang Theory of consciousness. Poof. And whatever that source of consciousness was, poof, it went everywhere like glitter and sprinkles and stars. And it has feelings. And the more feelings it has, the more color it has. And the more sparkly it is. And we are whole as one round O positive blood egg ready to be born into a human vessel. And the image of her is of a goddess, really. And but in Cyprus, there's a place, all our heads chopped off of these, and I said no, no, that's no. They're the bee headers. That's who they are. They're can't say it. I think. How do you spell that? I-S. No, is it I-S? I don't know how to spell it. So that's who. And yes, head jumpers are reborn too. And repeating history. So you know what exists today. I was showing you also existed in the beginning when we were taken over by them. Thanks to the first Haiti who sold out because they got the dye. He wanted the dye red. He wanted that purple. He wanted that honor and feeling of it really felt glorious for the red. And I gotta tell you, my landlord, like he loves the red. Everybody here does actually. In the new house he built, or the face house, there are red doors, red slates beside the door, big red slates. And he feels like royalty in his mind to me, like the way he walks and talks, and how he had, I'm going to be honest, when I got here, guys, he was gay. Yeah, he was a gay guy. No women around here. Two guys over there and him. It was all gay or gay. Um, but I arrived and I started they were waiting for me to start drinking or whoring around or something. And it just never happened. I basically, I went for walks, I took bus rides, I tended to my feelings, I isolated through the winter. I adored doing finger painting and I expressed my emotions. Turns out what I was expressing was the story of what's coming. My hands and my art, I always felt was really bad because I've always been told it's really bad. But it it's on purpose, and all of my walk has been on purpose. But this 111 I wrote down why. But their demands, these. Oh, and the other part was about beheading. I told you in my story, Jesus and Mary's story, where that I was conscious to for quite some time. In 2005, I was unconscious and I was in Ephesus, Turkey, which is on the Mediterranean, on the Asian side of Turkey. I mean, yeah, Asian Turkey, not Istanbul. Ephesus, which was a buried city that they were, buried concrete city that they had just, the Austrians had just discovered and uncovered all these marble paths and these houses and whatnot, and tried to convince the tourists, or tried to convince me, that this is where Mother Mary went after Jesus died to go into exile, which basically the way they were sounding in their tone, what's exile mean? Is like a little retirement village, basically. It's very nice. Here is her swimming pool, they said. And this is where I had my first, oh no, you're wrong, when I wouldn't know. The beings of light haven't been there yet. And I just went, oh no, bucko. The hole in the ground made of brick. Red brick is what they put for slaves or something. Uh, it's not a swimming pool. It was full of heads in my head. And I knew Mary was beheaded there. I knew it. But you knew that she was reborn with Jesus again in that castle in the 16th century there with King James to rewrite history there and try again from within the castle, which is something we can do. We can choose our lives, choose the mother, choose the life. The only issue is, would the mother reject you and not? So then we're in this castle making these changes, but right away King James is taken away. It's like they have a crystal ball. How do they know what to do? And turn him into a sodomite and her into another beheaded. Right? It was hell then too, like 16th century. Oh my God. Just never want to go back there, but here we are. Here we are. Names of countries may change and locales, but these stories, even if you get bombed, like the middle of the one continent we had, and suddenly we become 7 continents and a lot of islands. We were one. That goes way back. But this entity, so yeah, they adopted the Greek, The Greeks adopted the alphabet from the Phoenicans. So let me be clear. The people in Tyre were called the Phoenicans because they had the alphabet. They really valued Hercules, or Melchus, that was called, and the olive tree. This is where this is where after the slavery, right? You realize I'm talking after, and women were forbidden or banned. They had these cement houses on the hills overlooking the sea. But now things were turning ugly. So, what purple represents imperial crown, dignity of boyhood. Purple and red dye, it came from snails. It came from snails. The spiral? I thought it meant something else, but I saw the spiral in the snails where the dye came from, which was very significant because remember, guys, we're spirits. We're here to create. And if we're not using our imaginations to get things like dye from snails, then because to me, the dye coming from snails are black. Am I wrong about that? I think we can take that as a clue that everybody is going very dark. Okay. Oh boy. I still have this heart failure and fluid built up around my heart. But now this new slave master, um, it's about the pillars, pottery, and weaving webs of lies, chaos. And what really got my attention was they called this the Bay of Tunis, the Blue Lagoon. Well, I watched a movie when I was a little girl called The Blue Lagoon, and it was about the first boy and girl swimming and creating life out of, you know, this beautiful heavenly place. It's so beautiful. And there these two were creating this beautiful life together. And I even saw the shape of it. So when I watched that show, I sort of recognized it, and I wanted to do it on my mural. Somehow get the Blue Lagoon. And then I heard in my head the other day the Blue Bayou. It's like the Blue Bayou. And I realized no, the Blue Lagoon's just moving around the Blue Bayou because we're getting nuclear happening, the darker we go, the more goes. We're not allowed to live like this. We're not allowed to live in contrary to love. It just doesn't work out. And so, and now, if since there is practically no consciousness to what people do unconsciously in their spirit, they don't trust themselves, and they take squirrel side trips. But more importantly, they buy into slavery. They buy into it by enslaving their own wives or partners, husbands, or children. Somebody help me, or it's a slave master world. At this point, everybody is either a slave or a master on different levels. Different levels. And I really wanted to try and get that mural um, done. And when I looked over to my right, and I see this place that is on the hill, going down cobblestone, with that crown temple looking over the mainland. This this place is a different shape. It's got bays all around it, like a lagoon, right? It's separate from the mainland. And there it is, right there on my wall. It's the same as my bathroom here. You walk into it, there's a picture of somebody did, and it's a music symbol. Like, I can't make this up. It's a music symbol somebody had created and put into this glass with rock. I mean, glass rocks. It's just so beautiful. I should show you, but I'm too tired. But I've shown my viewers before. That's the music that we come with, where it it's love, and it keeps our spirit alive in imaginations of joy and color, and like children, really, like the Blue Lagoon children. I don't know if that movie is still available to look out, but I think they may have even recreated that movie. But I saw it, the first one, probably when it was black and white even, but I could imagine it. Maybe when color was first coming out. Yeah, that was it. But in that art, the red obviously is influenced. The red influenced the flowers. Don't know if you can tell. It's maroon. Flowers on a dark green tree. Very dull. The orange and kind of muted yellow on those houses, it's got an influence in there from that crown, from the red and purple. It's making everything else dark. It's creating Haiti everywhere. And you can take Haiti as a new word. Hate. Another hate place. Haiti. And that's how I connected all these Haitis with my story. Interesting, eh? But Mark, you'll never know. My landlord, he comes from Haiti. And I just found out that he was there until he was 10. So it must have been terrible. But here he is now in Quebec, adopted, by French people. And he works like a dog. But he's a slave master here. He has all the rewards of working like a dog as a government civil servant. I don't know what he did. Some security work. Um, until he retired when he went to Thailand this year, right? And all these people coming over and working here. And now a woman moves in out of nowhere 3 years, 4 years ago. I think what happened was he saw the value in having a woman around. I was bringing soup and bread. I was soft and comfortable, and I wasn't drinking, and I didn't know men. And so he could see me too. And maybe not all women are that horrible. And I don't know what his story is, but she came as a slave. She's been a slave here, pure and simple. Works like him, outside, inside. Always big smile. The slaves have big smiles and are very, very kind. Well, they wouldn't say anything. No, they don't offend. They don't offend anybody. They're kind. Well, he who dare not offend cannot be honest. And I have offended a lot of people, I know. And you've got lots to argue with me. But what you can't argue with is the dots I can connect in what I show you. It's impossible um, to not see the historical repetitive patterns I've presented to you. And I'm really sorry I lied about Mark, but I knew one day that would come to me. And it started to about a year ago in the gematria. I made a mistake. The castle, Mark. And I thought, what? Mark? What's Mark showing up in Trevor's gematria? Or Elvis's gematria? What is that? And we can go back and correct our mistakes by realizing if we're selling out for ego, the fantasy, which ends, it will end again. And who are you when it ends? Who are you? Are you artificial intelligence from the books, from the television? Or are you emotional intelligence where you were you were O positive with your mother until you were 12? And the sperm creates the alpha for the male part of one whole being. And you come back and forth as the man, next is the karmic, you'll be the woman, and you're playing out these lives as victim and abuser. And I'm here just to let you know that's like Haiti, hatred. And that's why this one's going to end where the consciousness is becomes so retarded that when birth rehappens, nobody will be able to figure it out. Nobody. But I suspect because the event is like a star coming, a big star coming. Um, the big star is coming. It's a star that followed me here to Quebec with my moon. And I noticed my star was gone. I haven't seen it for about a year. But the star that I'm talking about is not light years away in outer space, as Google was saying. It's a event, a real event. They do know about here on Earth. I just saw it on Google, but I knew it anyway from my information that this nuclear explosion will make the earth uninhabitable for at least 1,000 years, so that the consciousness is gone, like the ash. And that's a good thing, right? For those of you who don't like this, that's a good thing. But before you can sit there and be entertained by all of this that I tell you, is that ultimately each of us are responsible to be returned in the same condition that we came, with our one. And if we cannot get the love, if we need from them the love more than we want the love, we can say goodbye to those ones, the ones who need love, the ones who are love and knowing, all knowing, are fearless because they have had a consciousness awakening to all knowing in whatever journey they're on. I'm on this one. It's a big one. I told you it was about family. I shared all of my family, but it was really on a global scale. When I had the dream, who will, who will bear the brunt of this mother's anger? And Cheryl Ann Grosclose raised her hand, and I went into that body to take over a little murdered girl. Men, parents are doing that. They're destroying them. And so I have no feelings. I am unplugged from anyone who loves themselves more than they love their children, or hates their partner more than they love their children, and brings in artificial people these children will never remember. Never. They can't remember. They can only remember their own. And to take that away, can you see the enormity of the problem? I hope so. I hope so. So if you don't know what to do, I've given a couple of videos to show what I do. I would turn the oldies music on before 77. I would get out the art. I would start finger painting or doing some fine art, or cooking, or strumming a guitar. Just escape your brain. Escape artificial intelligence and return to spirit.